Right now, we're at Woodstock. It's about, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And about three days ago, I decided to do a documentary on autism. The reason why, one of the reasons why, was Karen Ramsey, because she's an expert. And the other reason why was because I had a young boy. I'm not going to say that because I already told you like 10 times already. Anyway, Karen Ramsey is an expert on autism. Why don't you explain why, what results you've seen, what kids you've worked with, what they should eat? I'll keep my mouth shut, Dad.
Okay. Well, I'm a speech and language therapist, and I've worked with children who have communication disorders for 34 years. I've been specializing with children who have autism for the past 13 years. And speech and language therapy is very beneficial, so is physical therapy, occupational therapy, also vision therapy can be very helpful. But what I'm also finding, and I'm extremely interested in nutrition, and nutrition can be extremely powerful in helping to improve autism in terms of children's communication, ability to focus and learn, and just function in society. And many of these children, as you know, are finicky eaters. Some of them only eat chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese. And so what I do is I begin to integrate raw and living plant foods into their diet, and I'm seeing some really impressive progress. So,
like what?
Well, for example, I worked with a woman and her 8-year-old autistic son,
right.
Who was not making eye contact,
right.
and he was speaking in one-word utterances and had a lot of communication problems, difficulty learning, and she went from a mainstream meat and processed food diet that she was serving her family to a vegetarian diet, wow. And then moved to a vegan diet. We did it one step at a time because there's a long way to go, and
yeah.
Everybody's on their own path. And I didn't want to push this family, but she moved to a vegetarian diet, and the child was resistant. But I look at ways to get fruits and vegetables in wherever we can, and just the mother giving the child little tastes of foods that are fresh, fiber-rich, nutrient-dense, vitamin and mineral-packed fruits, leafy greens, and vegetables. And this child made so much progress over a period of just under a year.
What does progress look like?
Okay, well, you know, they became vegan.
They became vegan.
And so they cut out the animal products
right.
completely.
And what happened to the child?
And she gave him fruits and vegetables for school.
Okay.
And as they were going along, she just added more and more fruits and vegetables as she was following my recommendations.
Yeah.
And after, I guess it was like between 8 and 10 months, she called me and told me that she was just really so amazed at what was happening because he was making eye contact with
right.
her.
That's a big one,
he
right?
was huge. I mean, he wasn't
right.
communicating, and
right.
he at school wasn't able to focus and learn.
Right. Right.
And all of a sudden, you know, the teachers were contacting her and asking her what was
right.
going on.
Right.
That her child was making
right.
so much improvement suddenly,
right.
and able to focus and learn and
right.
work along with the other students.
right.
And it got to the point where this mother was saying to me that she didn't think he was autistic,
wow.
on the autistic spectrum
wow.
anymore. And so I'm very hopeful
right.
that this can happen with other children also.
Right.
Sometimes
right.
there's more than just food.
Right.
There's, you know, there might be some supplementation.
Right.
There might even be things like heavy metal detoxification.
Mm-hmm.
Many of these children are exposed to heavy metals.
Well, what do you recommend they are?
This child, the mother took this child into the hyperbaric chamber.
Wow.
For increased oxygen, and that
right.
was very effective.
Right.
There's other avenues of working with heavy metals,
Right.
chelation therapy. And so, you know, we have to look at each child differently,
Right.
because every child on the autistic spectrum is a different person,
Right.
a totally different person, and not one of them is similar to another one.
Wow.
So we really need to look at it, each child completely uniquely. But I am excited because I believe that really good nutrition from plant foods is so powerful for healing this really tragic situation. And the United States has so many autistic children. In my state of New Jersey, autism is now 1 in 49 children.
1 in 49. And you originally told me it's going to happen in 50 years, but the latest statistics I've read, by the year 2032, in 18 years, every boy born will have autism.
That's right.
Every girl born will have
Yeah.
autism by the year 2041.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics...
People will be afraid to have kids.
The statistics are growing so fast.
So fast, right.
That we absolutely cannot ignore this situation.
And what do you think about all the state law that you can't send your child to school? As soon as you're born, you must get a hepatitis shot. What do you think about that?
Right. I really think that we need to look into the vaccinations.
Right.
The MMR vaccine is one, the measles, mumps, rubella is one that we really need to look at seriously. And
Hepatitis as soon as you're born?
right, and there's so many wonderful books out that we can recommend for parents to understand what's involved with vaccinating your children. And you need to understand that you do have vaccination choice.
Right, you do.
Yes,
You
you
do.
do. There's only 2 states out of the United States.
Only 2 states in the United States we have vaccination choice.
There's only 2 states where you don't have vaccination choice.
What 2 states are there?
West Virginia and Mississippi.
Okay, what about the other states? What does
The
that mean?
other 48 states,
What does that mean?
you can have a religious exemption.
What other exemption can you have?
Well, in some states you can have a philosophical exemption,
Right.
which is even simpler. You can just state that it just goes against your values. But for a religious exemption, it can be for any religion.
What does that mean?
Every Bible states that our body is the temple of God.
Right.
And we are not meant to inject and ingest toxic substances into our bodies or the bodies of our children.
It's the only country where you have to buy a product.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, we've really got
What if
to
someone's
start
not
thinking.
religious? What if someone's not religious and they don't want to get their kids vaccinated?
They can still go with a religious exemption unless their state has a philosophical exemption. And every state has an organization on vaccination choice.
Wow.
Every state of those 48 states.
So if you're not religious and want a vaccination exemption, you have to become religious.
No, you don't have to become religious.
If you don't have a philosophical thing.
Well, you don't have to become religious. You can just state that it goes against your religion. I mean, your religion could be any religion at all. You could believe in nature.
Right, right. Yeah.
You know, so it really doesn't matter. So many people come to me asking me about, you know, that they're Catholic or Jewish or Hindu or whatever they are. It doesn't matter.
And by the way, this is not only the United States, this is all over the world this is happening.
Yes.
So you're having a lecture in my store September 16th?
I am going to be at Arnold's Way in Lansdale, Pennsylvania on September 16th. I believe it's a Tuesday.
Right.
And we're going to be doing an autism symposium. And the focus will be totally on autism, and we will be speaking about the different ways that children can become autistic, if there is a predisposition, and how we can begin. Well, I mean, I think that some children genetically may be predisposed, and so, but it takes something environmental to trigger it off.
Wow. Okay.
And so I think that we can go back and we can start to look at the cause of the problem. Because so many children are just medicated and then we don't look at what really caused the problem. And we can unravel that and start to see where we can begin to help these children to heal. That is what we need to do. We need to heal the United States and other countries where autism rates are high, because books like A Vaccine Epidemic is one book.
I have it, by the way.
Right.
I do have it.
Excellent book. There's many other books
Make an
on that
informed decision.
topic.
Myers and stuff.
My own child had a severe vaccine reaction.
Wow.
My first child.
Right.
And her leg blew up into like a boulder
Wow.
after the first 3 DPTs and oral
Wow.
polios.
Wow.
And you know, the doctors told me that was a normal reaction.
Wow.
That is not a normal reaction.
Wow.
It's not a normal reaction for your leg to blow up and to scream for 3 days.
What's wrong with
normal.
mothers? How come they don't realize that? How come 99% of all mothers don't want to hear it?
Well, because we've grown up in a society where we believe the doctor.
Wow.
Whatever the doctor says. And, you know, many doctors, they want to do best for their patients. Their intentions are good. But this is what their training is. They're not trained to look at the cause. They're looking at the cure, and they're using vaccines to try to prevent disease. But what they're actually doing is that they are harming the child's internal terrain.
Wow.
And they're making the child more susceptible to other illnesses.
Wow.
And so we really need to look more into this and to understand that we can turn it around.
Yeah.
We can totally turn it around.
We're going to turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making a movie. Should be done by my goal is September 16th. It'll be finished. It'll be singing. It'll be dancing. It'll be the joy of health rather than looking for a treatment for something that shouldn't be.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, bye.